Hey guys, Get Level here, and today we're going to be talking about streamer gear bundles. What do you mean by streamer gear bundles? Basically, we're going to be talking about different products that you can spend money on if your budget is $50, $100, $500, or $1,000. Obvious but necessary disclaimer. Although I'm going to try to explain my picks, all of the products will not necessarily apply to your specific situation. Okay, so I'm just merely giving suggestions. I'm just merely brainstorming. This is mostly a mental exercise than anything else. So always do your own research every time you're buying anything to improve your stream. Don't just buy it just because I said so or you saw it briefly in a video. Okay, second disclaimer, you will probably see a lack of popular gear in there. My goal, if you've been watching this channel, my goal is not to just show you what is popular. I should really, because popular things are usually expensive, and I would probably make a lot more money if I just told you, hey, buy this expensive popular thing. But my goal here is to mostly save money and show you how little you can spend on your stream and still be able to improve it when it comes to quality, or let's just say production value. Okay, the last things that you need to know is that those bundles were thought of for people who don't have anything. Basically, it's not upgradable. It's not like once you have the $50 one, you should upgrade to the $100 one. All of them are separate. It's like, I want to start streaming. I have a computer, I have monitors, I have my mouse, I have my keyboard. I probably already have a headset, and I want to know what should I buy with my limited budget. And the link's going to be in the description for those bundles if you want to take a look at them and maybe explore and do some more research on the specific products that we're going to talk about. They are Amazon affiliate links. Okay, if you don't know what that is, basically I might get a couple of cents if you buy them from those specific links. So consider it, I guess. All right, let's start. $50. Okay, you have your computer, you have your monitors, you have everything set, but now you want to start streaming and you have $50 and you want to know, where should I invest to get the maximum out of, but like the more bang for my buck? So the most important categories in that order would be audio. Audio is the most important thing. No matter what everyone says, you can watch a stream that has amazing audio but no webcams at all, or that has a lot of drop frames, that is horrible video quality, but the audio is just smooth. But the opposite is really, really hard. Even if your quality is great, if your audio is crappy, no one's gonna sit there and listen to crappy audio for 3 hours straight. So the categories are audio, camera, and lights. Technically, lights are more important than camera, but if I put lights before, then it seems like you can buy lights and not a camera. No. All right, $50. So in audio, we have the Fifine K669B. Now, if you've seen my previous videos on you know, microphones in general, you'll tell me, oh, you're a hypocrite because you're always speaking against microphones that come on a stand. But we are trying to get high quality with a very, very low budget. Unfortunately, well, I haven't found anything else that was that good, basically, for that price. So for now, you have to stick to USB microphone with that little tripod stand. Just don't hit the table, and if you're still having like humming sounds because you have a fan or something, some vibration going through the table, put like an old t-shirt underneath it. That will dampen out the vibrations and you should be fine for now. I believe I reviewed this microphone, so check on my channel. There will be a review for that so you can see how it sounds. It actually sounds really great for the price, at least. So 29, about 30 bucks for the mic. Let's go on to the camera. Okay, so for camera, we're going with the Logitech C270. This is not the C920. This is not 1080p. This is a solid 720p webcam. It's not great, but if you can get it for less than 20 bucks, then it's absolutely worth the price. The advantage that you have here is that you have solid audio. You're gonna have 720p webcam, but if you're streaming at 720p, then you're completely fine. No one will be the wiser. The colors, from what I've seen on the internet, the colors are kind of washed out, so you might have to play with a color correction filter in Streamlabs OBS or OBS Studio or whatever you're using, but it's still a pretty solid camera. I believe it goes up to 30 FPS, so we're still not at the 60 FPS thing, but it's a pretty good camera, especially for that price. And this is where it gets hard. Lighting. Technically, with 50 bucks, you can't expect to have good audio, good camera, and good lighting. Usually I would tell you, don't worry about lighting for now. Just grab your grandma's lamp, put in a CFL light bulb or an LED light bulb even, and there put it in front of your face or near your face, and you should be good. But let's throw in this clamp light. It comes without a light bulb, so you're gonna have to unscrew a light bulb somewhere in your house. And the advantage here is that you can clamp it pretty much anywhere, and it directs the light. It reflects the light with the aluminum parabolic shape or whatever. It's like the cheapest alternative when you want like a cheap ghetto lighting setup. So that one is $8, but I honestly think that you should go to your local dollar store. You'll probably find, or hardware store, you'll probably find it cheaper than that. And you can even get 2 of them and have pretty great lighting. Just make sure you don't put incandescent light bulbs in there because they get hot. I mean, you can secure it, but like if you're under 18 or something like that, definitely ask your parents before going for that setup. We're talking about very janky and potentially dangerous. You can set your house on fire if you're not careful with those hot incandescent light bulbs and a clamp light. You've been warned. You can't, like, I will not be held accountable for that, okay? But the cool thing is very versatile. You can put it anywhere. You can put any light bulbs in it, and it's great. So the available light bulbs that you have plus easy placement anywhere. All right, from my calculation, this is a bundle. The $50 bundle should get you about like $56. I'm not gonna say the prices because I'm gonna recalculate everything, and also the specific links that I'm gonna show may be subject to price changes. Some of them are on sale right now and stuff like that, but it's an all-around idea of, okay, you're in the ballpark of $50. All right, let's move on to that $100 setup. Okay, for $100, let's talk about audio. I recommend the Fifine kit. Basically, Fifine, I think, like, I want to take credit for that kit. Basically, when I tested the first one that I showed you, the K669B, I also went on Twitter and then I ranted about the fact that, hey, we need we need an arm, we need a pop filter, we need a shock mount, and then they came out with this. So I don't know if I was the influence, but anyways, this is a great bundle, and it's usually around $50. It sometimes go on sale, so look out for that. But again, I believe it's the same mic, but this time you have all the accessories, so all of your issues when it comes to the noise and table related noises should be solved with that. Plus you have the versatility of placing it wherever you want, especially close to your mouth, so it can sound like the best it possibly can. Make sure you use that pop filter, or at least that little mic beanie that comes with it. I believe this mic is kind of sensitive to the plosives, to the puh-puh. Okay, another alternative for this price range with still a pretty great quality mic, but with also accessories, would be the Toner Q9 kit. It also comes with all the accessories. The accessories are really high quality, and the mic is also like pretty sexy, if I do say so myself. Those are USB mics, by the way, so this is a good alternative. Now, still on alternatives, the lowest that I could find when it comes to simply the accessories, let's say you already have a mic or you want to keep the price even lower for your $100, basically you would get that Fifine, that first Fifine we talked about in the $50 price range, and then you would just add those accessories, because that is what the upgrade would be here. And for $9, you can get a kit with a scissor arm, your shock mount, and a pop filter. Now, of course, this is especially for the arm, it's probably going to be pretty cheap, so don't expect putting like a Blue Yeti on it or any of those huge heavy mics. But for now, and for most universal size weight mics, this is probably going to work completely fine. My old setup right here was also a cheap one for like $12. Just look at your workspace and try not to put it in a weird awkward position where it's completely extended, because it might not hold. All right, moving on to video. Now we are cooking with gas, whatever that expression means. We have the Logitech C920. Of course, I recently did a whole review and how to get the best out of it videos. Here you're gonna have pretty good 1080p, solid 30 FPS, and overall a great camera. Autofocus. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that the C270 doesn't have autofocus. This one will have autofocus. And basically watch one of my most recent videos about it, where I talked about the presets and stuff like that. It's kind of a camera that needs a little bit of time to really set up for live streaming, but overall it's a great camera, really. For the price, sometimes it goes on sale for like $35. This is where you really need to get it. I would not pay, as I said in my other review, I would not pay more than $60 for that camera, but to be honest, there's a reason why this camera is so popular. And for lighting, we went with only 2 clamp lights. Okay, we're staying very cheap when it comes to lighting. If you're gonna spend $50 on your camera and $50 on your audio, that's your $100 budget. unfortunately, you can't do much with lighting. If you happen to have the right setup, this could look really good, okay? Again, watch out for incandescent light bulbs. They get really hot. But at $16, it's, of course, great value. Again, you have to steal some light bulbs somewhere in your house, but that's fine. I'm not responsible for that. Okay, moving on to the $500 bundle. This is where I feel like this should be kind of like the basic, hey, I'm a live streamer. Well, not basic, as in if you have a lower budget, that's completely fine too. But if the most recommended things will be within that $500 budget, basically. This is where you will get like that medium to high end quality when it comes to your camera, to your lighting, and your audio. Mostly your audio and your lighting, really. For the camera, we're probably gonna stick with the same cameras, but we're gonna see this. We're gonna see. Anyways, so for audio, we went with the Audio Technica AT2020, also a very, very popular microphone, and for a good reason. I feel like the AT2020 is kind of like, for streamers at least, is more on the high end of microphones, because you're starting to get in that really crispy quality. The thing here, this is an XLR microphone, so we're not dealing with USB microphones anymore. So you will have to find a good preamp for it, or a mixer, a USB interface, or whatever it is. But you will have to find one that is good enough to actually push this microphone to its optimal capabilities, basically. Do I say basically a lot? I probably do. But instead of just recommending you the AT2020, I actually found this bundle. Okay, so you don't have a mic, you don't have anything, it's good to find those bundles. Scissor arm, XLR cable, because those can be expensive sometimes, and pop filter on top of your AT2020. I believe this doesn't come with a shock mount. You decide if you want to buy a universal shock mount after that. But for $109, this is a pretty great bundle. Now you have to plug it somewhere because it's XLR. Let's talk about that. Okay, if we're going very cheap when it comes to what we're plugging it in, basically our audio interface, we're gonna go with the Behringer, and a lot of people already clicked off the video right now. The Behringer Euphoria UM2, which is one of the cheapest you can buy, but it's solid. Okay, the preamps are okay. There's no weird thing going on in the background, basically. It just gives you that preamp, and it powers your microphone, and you should be completely fine. It doesn't really modify the audio. I'm saying that because I'm using a mixer right now. Long after buying it, I realized that there was some issues with the power. Basically, it wasn't giving enough power to use the mic and be optimal, basically. So now I understand why people want basic interface, and that's completely fine. This one is USB, so you plug the mic in there, you plug your USB in your computer, and then you're good to go. Nothing fancy. You have your volume knobs and everything. Now, an alternative to that, because of course some people will refuse to buy the UM2, and I get it. Some people just don't want to go with the cheap stuff. That's fine. I can't believe I'm going to say this because I'm known to not recommend the Go XLR, but the Go XLR Mini for the price range is not bad. Now, I feel like the software side of it is what's really going to help. So that's why I'm putting it in this list, but it's definitely more on the expensive side of things. If you really want hardware effects, hardware compressor, hardware reverb, echo, and all of that, definitely go with a USB mixer that has all those options. But here we're talking about live streamers. I wanted something small, something simple, and something, I wanted to throw in something kind of popular in there still. The Go XLR Mini, in my opinion, especially for the software that comes with it, is okay. It's alright. You're still, keep in mind that you're still spending a lot of money for what it's doing, but it's okay. It has LEDs, right? Okay, we're still in that $500 price range. Let's go with cameras. Oh no, what is this? It's the C920 again. We already talked about that. So I put this, and I also put an alternative. We know that we're at 500, but let's say you went crazy with the Go XLR, which, to be honest, that's completely fine. If you went crazy with your audio instead of your camera, that's completely fine. But let's say that you want to go crazy with your camera. You would want to get a Logitech Brio. Okay, so now if you can't get the Go XLR Mini and get Logitech Brio, which is, they're both pretty much $200, So you're almost getting at that $500 price range. So you might want to choose in between them. Hey, but it's your money. You do whatever you want with it. So Logitech Brio, what are the advantages? First of all, it's USB 3, so it's going to be more powerful and it's going to be faster. It's going to allow more things such as 4K recording, at least. I haven't tested one personally, but I heard and I've seen that the color management is even better. So everything's going to look better. And most importantly, it has 1080p 60 FPS. Okay, 1080p 60 FPS. I feel like if you're streaming at 1080p 60 FPS, this is a great camera to go with. Has a zoom, of course, like autofocus and all of that. It apparently has a wider angle, at least wider than the B525, whatever that is. But yeah, ring light 3 plus HDR, so it has better color management from what they're saying. If you do own a Logitech Brio, please let me know all the amazing things about it. And now let's move to lighting. Okay, so for lighting here, I think that we could move up basically and get some professional lighting. We're still talking about cheap stuff when it comes to professionalism. Here, we want to be able to light our subject properly. That is you in that case. And we also want to have some background lights. Basically, we want to have some versatility and make whatever room you're streaming in look a little bit more professional. So first thing I'm going to say is that ring lights will not be part of this list for a specific reason. Ring lights are used to have a very, very specific effect. Okay, your camera has to be in the middle of that ring light and you have to be close enough for that effect to be actually visible. Otherwise, if you use your ring light like to the side, your camera is not in the middle of it, you're pretty much paying for the shape and not using the reason why it's shaped like that, effectively wasting money and basically wasting the ring light, when for less money you could invest in a panel where you would get way more light and pay less. So there's a whole thing about ring lights. People are not really aware of why they should buy a ring light. They just heard that some YouTubers use ring light and then it became widespread, and now companies are selling tiny ring lights that don't really give the effect needed, and other YouTubers are like, hey, this is why you need a ring light, and it's complete bull, you know. So people really profit off of the ignorance, and I'm not gonna be part of that for now. Any ring light companies want to send me a big check, maybe I'll change my mind. Anyways, so why did I choose this LED lighting kit? For two reasons. First of all, it comes with a softbox, but if you don't have the space to have a huge softbox in your apartment or your tiny gaming room, you can also have this pretty flat LED, I'm not gonna call it projector, but basically LED lights, right? You can switch the temperature, but like that doesn't really matter. What really matters is the fact that you can turn down the intensity, so really make it as bright as you want it to be. But also, if you really want it to be soft, because it depends on who you are and what you stream, but usually you want very soft light with soft shadows. Don't be afraid to turn your lights over to the wall that's behind your desk and make the light basically bounce to your face. You're gonna have the softest shadows, and technically it's beauty light. You're gonna look better if you do that. Of course, you're losing intensity or whatever, but at this point those lights are so bright that I think your camera can handle it. So that is a kit with two of them for each side, but you can also just use one if you want to save some money. Just remember that you're gonna have some shadows on one side if that's the case. I'm going to make a whole video on lighting. I don't want to go too much into it right now. Okay, your background. Let's make your background look great now that you have lights for your face. No, wait, I found an alternative. So I found those very flat lights. Again, trying to save you space. You can plug them in directly, same thing. Those are mostly used for more professional things, for like photography. I think it's great that it has a remote control, so after your stream you don't have to get up and turn them on manually. Everything can be controlled at a distance. The lights before were $99 and those are also $99. What the heck? No, those are $134. But you will realize that all those lights with full kit and tripods and stuff like that are still cheaper than one single Elgato key light. This is why there's no Elgato key light, at least not in this $500 budget. But I acknowledge that the Elgato key light is great, especially if you already have a Stream Deck. If you want to put it in there, do it. But this, if you're tight on money and you have that specific budget, this is not. I'm not gonna recommend it. Elgato, also slide in my DMs, please. And of course, I also understand that if you really don't have any space, you want the lights to be sitting on your table. So there is a couple of accessories that you can buy in order to make that happen and still not spend as much money as you would spend on a key light. But of course, I also understand that it's practical if you already have that Stream Deck. The software is great. Elgato has amazing software when it comes to managing their products and stuff like that. So I also understand. I'm not against it. It's just not in my list. Okay, let's talk about that background. Let's make that background look great. And yes, those are floodlights. Those are lights that are meant to be used outside. Again, if you're a child watching this, if you're younger than 21 years old or whatever the adult age is in your country, do not buy or touch electronics ever. Ask your parents for that. But those are pretty powerful floodlights. Okay, so if you have enough space for those, you can use them. Okay, they're great. For 59 bucks, you have 2 of them. I'm actually using one right now. Like the red light that you're seeing, this is 150 watt. This is a bundle with 250 watts. So I have the advantage. This is like a 30-meter square apartment. So this room is big enough for the light to bounce around. But if you have a tiny room, keep in mind that turning this full brightness will basically flood your whole room, and it's gonna look red or green or blue or whatever setting you put it on. So if you want to only buy one, do it. If you want to buy a lower intensity, like a 10 watt, 15 watt, 30 watt, that's also completely fine. But I'm not gonna lie, having 2 is really cool because you can make color combinations. I actually want to buy another one, but I just I can't get myself to do it yet. So I talked way more on that kit. So the $500 kit is basically for audio, the AT2020, the Audio-Technica 2020 as a mic. As an interface, you can either get the UM2, if Euphoria UM2 Behringer, which is very, very cheap, or the GoXLR Mini if you want to go a little more fancier. Completely fine. Camera, you can either still get the Logitech C920, okay, for about 40 bucks, or you can get the Logitech Brio, which is around 150 bucks. And for lights, you can get either a softbox kit, a flat LED panel kit, and as your background lights, you can use stuff like Philips Hue, but those are expensive for no reason. If you're okay with using exterior lighting inside your room, definitely get those floodlights. It's kind of a hack that I've been using. Keep in mind that LEDs have a tendency, especially very powerful LEDs, have a tendency to flicker depending on what webcam you're using and what intensity you're using them at. I recently got one for my friend Viking Trash, and on the specific color that she wanted, the lights were flickering a lot because, you know, high intensity, rolling shutter, well, not necessarily rolling shutter, but like frame rate and stuff like that. Anyways, keep that in mind before buying one. Usually, if you want to use colors simple as red, green, or blue, you're going to be fine, but it also depends on so many things. The RGB floodlights are basically a good ratio when it comes to how powerful they are versus how much money you're gonna spend. Oh, and most of them are waterproof. Okay, here it is. This is the part where we talk about the $1,000 kit, and this is the part where most people are gonna disagree with me, and that's completely fine. If you disagree, leave a comment and tell me what you would buy with $1,000. All right, so let's talk about audio. It's the most controversial part. Okay, for audio, obviously the first choice was the Shure SM7B, you know, that very, very fancy, that $500 podcast microphone. But then I thought, this is the part where you need to, if you have $1,000, there's no reason for you to go too crazy. Basically, I feel like if you're a Twitch streamer, spending 500 bucks on a microphone, especially if you're starting, because that's kind of why I'm making this video, is mostly for people who are starting, who want an idea. Don't spend 500 bucks on a microphone, honestly. Like, of course, if you're rich and money is not a problem, yeah, do it, you know, like pay a sound engineer to pick up these things. Don't listen to me. What do I know? I'm not rich. I can't relate to that. But when it comes to live streaming, there's a certain level, I feel like there's a ceiling of quality and production value that you hit pretty fast, you know? Okay, so I picked up a kit, the Audio-Technica AT2035, which is a little bit better than the 2020. You can go online and do the comparison. But again, this time, this one has a XLR cable. It comes with the scissor arm and the shock mount this time, and also a pop filter. So technically your mic is all ready to go. Your setup is ready to go. You just have to plug it in an interface. Now I went through a lot of interfaces, and I also know that a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but I feel like at this point in time you could go, for example, for the full Go XLR, but the full Go XLR is like $500. And again, I really can't justify this to people who are just starting. At this point, if you want to buy things to flex, like, this is not the video for you. I wanted an interface where I could have an equalizer, okay, that could power my mic, but also have an equalizer. Also have multiple inputs and outputs. So at this point, if I'm spending $1,000 in my stream, that means that I may have other things that I want to plug in, to listen to. And my whole audio setup needs to be really, really precise in a way, okay? And I wanted to have all sorts of effects that I can do straight from the mixer, so I don't have to go and click on stuff or whatever, right? So the Yamaha MG10XU is a $200 mixer that is, well, right now on sale, it's at $199. That actually has 10 different inputs, which doesn't matter. Usually, like, if you're streaming, it's just you, okay? But the most important thing is the list of effects that is in there, okay? And of course, the equalizer. So that means that even if your mic is especially if you plug in that 2035, you can really tweak it to sound exactly like you want. Another interesting fact is here, it's the compressor. So you have built-in compressor, you have built-in effects, and you have your built-in equalizer. Those are things that you will not rely on your software to handle. That means that if your computer is being weird, you have no software that can crash, that can make you sound crappy. No, because it's built in. But if you want to add stuff on top of that in your broadcasting software, you can, like, it's completely fine. But technically the sound quality that you're going to have coming straight from this to your computer is going to be as good as you want it to be, basically. So that's why I went with this mixer. Now, let me know which one you would pick, because I know people are going to disagree with this. Remember, get a Go XLR, triple the price. Okay, I didn't go too crazy on the audio for a good reason. We have $1,000. Maybe it's time for us to switch our camera game and go to the land of DSLRs, okay? Technically, DSLRs, or at least old DSLRs, are not made to be used as standard cameras, okay? That's why we have camcorders. Those are meant to be, you know, you put it at a wedding and then you film the 3 hours of wedding back to back with no issues. But, you know, DSLRs like the Canon T2i, the one that I'm using right now, were not meant for that. They overheat, like they have this thing that shuts the camera down every 25 minutes. It's annoying. So I had to find one that was kind of suitable, okay? Like the cheapest, but also suitable for a different setup than what I have. So we can really have 1080p 60 FPS on top of having better image quality, because we're obviously dealing with a way better sensor, right? The EOS Rebel SL2 seems to be the perfect candidate for that, right? In this case, you know, I know you're gonna need a tripod and a couple of accessories. Most of them are not really that useful, because you're gonna have to buy a specific charger and adapter so you can plug it to your wall, so you don't have to use batteries. But I feel like having at least the lens, having the lens cleaner, and having a tripod or even a bag, because your camera is versatile. You have a photography camera, so you can use it for other stuff than just streaming. So it's cool to have, you know, double SD card and all of that. Anyways, the price tag on this is $518 on this specific one, but you can probably, I actually recommend people to use used DSLRs if they can find it on Craigslist or whatever. And there's other ways to get it cheaper. You can just buy the body and then buy a nifty 50, like 50mm lens, which is what I'm using right now. And then that's your setup. I don't really recommend doing that because you never know where you want to put it. So it's better to have that 18 to 55 zoom lens, so you can really tweak it to look exactly like you would want it to look, for multiple reasons. One is I'm really far from my camera right now. So if you don't have that distance, you want something that is more wide, but you're just not going to get as much bokeh effect as I'm getting. Again, do your research, especially now we're talking about $500 for one product. Do your research, learn about that stuff, learn about this setup. On this setup, I looked for a camera that has clean HDMI output. There's one little hiccup with this one. Apparently, you have to turn off autofocus in order to have that clean HDMI output. So if you use it with an Elgato Cam Link, basically to transfer the HDMI to your computer and capture it, you have to have it on manual focus. My camera doesn't even have video autofocus, so I'm completely fine with it. Just like, don't get out of focus. No, you're gonna look blurry if you get out of focus. And if autofocus is something that is very, very required for you, then, well, you can either stick to the Logitech Brio, the C920, or get you a camera that has clean HDMI plus autofocus. Anyway, so those are mostly the accessories that you would need. If you get the specific pack, you would need a battery adapter, basically, that plugs into the wall, and an Elgato, something like the Elgato Cam Link or any capture card, really, in order to bring that HDMI output into your computer. So I did include the Elgato Cam Link in the list because, of course, it does 1080p 60 FPS, so it will really capture that DSLR camera. But if you find any other capture card, if you can find another I think the Pango is around the same price. So if you find any other capture card that is that at least does 1080p 60 FPS, that's great. But the Cam Link 4K is great because if ever you switch up your camera to a 4K camera, well, you'll be able to capture that as well. All right, let's talk about lights. Now, this is the point where you will also realize that, okay, once you go past that $500 setup, what else can you do with light? Now, there's so many things that you can do with light, but again, I don't want to make this video about lighting specifically. I will make another video about lighting. So I have a couple of picks. So we're mostly going to stay to the same ones that we had before, but that is in my list. Okay, we have the Endor softbox kit, and then we'll have that slim Viltrox 2-pack kit, and then that 50-watt RGB floodlight kit. But here's the thing. At that budget, if you're not afraid to go a little bit over, this is the part where you can definitely, you know, if you want to go crazy, like get yourself your Elgato key lights, right? Because they're easy to install. They don't take a lot of space, and they're great lighting for your face. Don't be afraid to turn them away from you and make them face like a white wall and have the light bouncing on you. That's what my friend Viking Trash is doing, and it still looks great. But yeah, for the background lights, you can throw in, you know, those little, this is like a $15 curtain lights it's called, or wedding lights, whatever. This is the part where you need to be creative. At $1,000, I feel like this is the part where you really need to let your personality shine through the gear that you decide to buy. It's hard for me to make a $1,000 kit after we have the DSLR sorted out or the audio sorted out. The lighting is really you. And I've been talking for 50 minutes. I need to stop making long videos like that. But anyways, this was my stream bundle kit. All the links will be in the description. I'm actually going to add it to my Amazon shop, so you will be able to go through each bundles. I will put them neatly together. And let me know what you think. And please, in the description, no, please, in the comment section, please let me know what gear you would like to put. What is your dream gear and what gear you're currently using and why you love it, why it's amazing. I want to learn more about gear. It's impossible for me to buy all this stuff and just test it out. I would love to. Also, tech companies, send me stuff, okay? I'm located in France. Keep that in mind. But please send me stuff so I can review, so I can advise my followers to what to buy, basically. And that includes you, Elgato, and also Logitech. Holla at your boy. Social media is gonna be up there. Please what? If you're looking for overlays, gumroad.com/gallevel. I have a bunch of them. They're free. A lot of them are also cheap. Okay, so free and cheap. No expensive stuff. There's literally no expensive stuff there. I'm trying to bump up my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, gal.level. I actually post pretty cool like stories sometimes. If I'm working on DIY, I give tips and tricks as I show my DIY projects. My work in progress is going to be on Twitch. I'm also a lot on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitch. I stream from once every full moon, not even every 2 full moons. And of course, check out other videos on my channel. I realize that most people watch one single video and then that's it, or they watch one video and then they watch every video from then. I have so many videos for live streamers. Please check out the rest of my videos on the channel. And that's enough talking for today. Go out there, make me proud. Thank you so much for watching my video. Gal Level out.